you. So with the permission of Honorable Vice Chancellor, shall we start the meeting, ma'am?
Yes, sir, please do. Please start.
Thank you, madam. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Today we have other esteemed guest, Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor from Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. Director HRDC JNU, Professor Brajesh Kumar Pandey, sir. Our coordinator for the courses, Professor Hiraman Tiwari, sir, Chairperson from the Center for Historical Studies. Dr. Virender Nath Prasad from the Center for Historical Study, Dr. Arvind Mishra from the Zakir Hussain Center for Educational Studies, and Dr. Parimala V. Rao, ma'am. I welcome you all and very good evening. Namaskar, Abhar, Abhinandan, and Namaste. मैं विद्या की देवी मां सरस्वती को नमन करते हुए I am Dr. Sanjeev Sharma. I am Assistant Director at HRDC JNU, and it gives me an immense pleasure and indeed a matter of pride and honor to host the valedictory session for two courses. The first course is a refresher course in history, and the second course in refresher course in teacher educations. I would like to highlight here that we are in the second year of conducting these online courses due to Corona pandemic, and the last year we have completed about 31 courses online successfully with the satisfaction of all the participants. This year, we have started our HRDC program under different components like refresher course in subject, refresher course in interdisciplinary studies, short-term courses, and workshop. And today, I'm happy to share with you that we are going to complete our 22nd course today. And parallelly, one faculty induction program is also we are conducting. And from Monday, we are also conducting two courses. HRDC JNU is one of the most prestigious institutions in the country. And we have also National Resource Center. We are also conducting Arpit courses also. Professor Hiraman Tiwari is also the coordinator for the history Arpit courses. So it is our moment and extreme pleasure to welcome our esteemed guests who are present in this combined valedictory session today to bless us with their knowledge and the wisdom. And we all know that the government of India having taken many initiatives to boost the education or especially the higher education, and HRDC program is one of them to enhance the knowledge, to update the knowledge of faculty working in different higher education institutions. And we all know that education play a very, very important role for the socio-economic development in this globalized era. And it has been long believed that the most important resources that any institute of higher education has its faculty member who teach knowledge and skill to the student. So teachers are valuable assets of modern society and develop the future of the next generation. When it comes to the word of knowledge, teachers are the torchbearer in showing the path to the student and futures by means of the proper guidance. These HRDC program also allow us to meet some brilliant mind of the country who come as a resource person, and they are also providing an opportunity to sharing our experience with each other. With this brief introduction, मैं कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं HRDC के निदेशक प्रोफेसर ब्रजेश कुमार पांडे सर से, जो बहुत ही सहज सरल, जिनके मार्गदर्शन में हम सब ये कार्यक्रम कर पाए हैं, और उन्हीं के मार्गदर्शन से कुछ कार्यक्रम फर्स्ट टाइम HRDC JNU में आए हैं, जिसमें से शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स इन वैदिक मैथमेटिक्स, शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स इन योगा साइंस स्पिरिचुअलिटी, एंड फर्स्ट रिफ्रेशर कोर्स इन इंडियन कल्चर एंड लैंग्वेज स्टडी. मैं प्रोफेसर ब्रजेश कुमार पांडे सर से विनम्र निवेदन करता हूं कि आप हमारे अतिथियों का स्वागत एवं अपना उद्बोधन हम सबके समक्ष रखें और अपना मार्गदर्शन करें. ओवर टू यू पांडे सर.
धन्यवाद. स्वागतम. मानव संसाधन विकास केंद्र HRDC JNU के इस वर्चुअल मंच पर आप सबका हार्दिक अभिनंदन एवं स्वागत है. इतिहास एवं टीचर्स एजुकेशन में आयोजित हमारे दोनों पुनश्चर्या पाठ्यक्रम आज पूर्णता को प्राप्त कर रहे हैं. इस ज्ञान यज्ञ की समाप्ति पर मुझे लगता है कि सबके पास कुछ न कुछ प्रसाद अवश्य आया होगा, जो उनकी बौद्धिक संतुष्टि का वाहक बनेगा और उनकी जीवन दृष्टि को भी कहीं न कहीं से अनुप्राणित करेगा। इस समापन सत्र में आज हमारे मध्य दो विशिष्ट मार्गदर्शक समुपस्थित हैं, जिन्होंने जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय का अभिभावकत्व कुलपति के रूप में अभी कुछ दिन पहले ही स्वीकार किया है। ऐसी प्रोफेसर शांतिश्री धुलीपुड़ी पंडित को अपने बीच पाकर के हम संतुष्ट एवं गर्वित हैं। इसी विश्वविद्यालय से अध्ययन करते हुए प्रोफेसर पंडित की जीवन यात्रा भारतीय परंपरा की समन्वय दृष्टि की यात्रा है, ऐसा मैं मानता हूं। पहली महिला कुलपति का आगमन जेएनयू के लिए शक्ति, शांति और उसकी श्रीवृद्धि का भारतीय परिप्रेक्ष्य है। उनका नेतृत्व निश्चय ही आगामी वर्षों में जेएनयू के अकादमिक गौरव को पुनर्परिभाषित करने और उसकी दिशा को निर्धारित करने में सफल सिद्ध होगा। इस मंच पर कुलपति के रूप में आपका प्रथम बार आगमन है, इसलिए मैं आपका भावपूर्ण स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करता हूं। हम आपको आश्वस्त करना चाहते हैं कि आपके दिशा निर्देशन में एचआरडीसी गुणवत्ता एवं अनुशासन के साथ अपनी प्रशिक्षण गतिविधियों की गरिमा को अक्षुण्ण रखेगा। इस क्रम में मैं हृदय से स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करता हूं इंदिरा गांधी राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर नागेश्वर राव का। आपका प्रबंधन, शिक्षण एवं प्रशासन हम सबके लिए कर्तव्य बोध का प्रेरक है। 35 लाख से अधिक छात्रों के बीच उत्कृष्ट शिक्षण सामग्री के साथ पहुंचना तथा उन्हें ज्ञान संपन्न बनाने हेतु अहर्निश प्रयत्न करना इग्नू की व्यापक एवं विराट कार्य पद्धति को इंगित करता है। उसका गतिमान नेतृत्व आपके व्यक्तित्व की अभिव्यक्ति है। मैं पुनः आपका स्वागत करता हूं। दोनों पाठ्यक्रमों के सुविज्ञ समन्वयकों का अभिनंदन, उनके कार्य के प्रति आभार प्रकट करना है। मैं प्रोफेसर भीरामन तिवारी जी, डॉक्टर वीरेंद्र नाथ प्रसाद, डॉक्टर अरविंद कुमार मिश्र एवं डॉक्टर परिमला वी राव का कृतज्ञ हूं कि उन्होंने हमारे आग्रह का सम्मान किया और पाठ्यक्रमों का समन्वयन स्वीकार किया। योग्य रिसोर्स पर्सन्स का चयन करते हुए प्रतिभागियों के साथ निरंतर संवाद बनाए रखा और विषय को निश्चित ही सर्वांगपूर्ण बनाया है। अपने ऊर्जावान जो युवा सहायक निदेशक हैं, जो संचालन भी कर रहे हैं, डॉक्टर संजीव शर्मा, उनके साथ साथ सभी सहयोगियों, विशेषकर नेहा जी, गौरव जी, ओम प्रकाश जी का अभिनंदन करता हूं। ये सारे कार्यक्रम उनके प्रयास के ही परिणाम हैं। इस समापन सत्र में मैं अपने सभी प्रतिभागियों, जितने भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, मैं सबका आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, जो भारत की बहुरंगी संस्कृति का प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं। 2 सप्ताह तक लघु भारत अपनी पूर्ण अनुशासन, गरिमा एवं शैक्षणिक उत्कृष्टता के साथ जेएनयू के इस आभासी मंच पर उपस्थित रहा। एकम सद्विप्रा बहुधा वदन्ति का हमें साक्षात अनुभव होता रहा। बहुत पहले जब कोठारी आयोग ने यह कहा था कि भारत का भाग्य उसकी कक्षाओं में आकार ले रहा है, तो उससे यह भी ध्वनि निकलती है कि उन कक्षाओं को अपने सांचे में ढालने का प्रयत्न करने वाला शिक्षक कक्षाओं में गढ़े जा रहे भारत के भाग्य का निर्माता है। हम सब उसका प्रतिनिधित्व करते हैं, लेकिन इस निर्माण का पुरोधा बनने के लिए हमें स्वयं को भी निरंतर परिष्कृत एवं अद्यतन करते रहना होता है और करते रहना भी चाहिए। भारतीय परंपरा में महर्षि व्यास का नाम शायद आपने सुना होगा, नहीं सुना तो मुझे लगता है जानना चाहिए। भारत के विख्यात भाषा वैज्ञानिक हैं, लिंग्विस्ट हैं और महर्षि पाणिनि से भी पहले हुए हैं। उन्होंने अध्यापक या आचार्य का अर्थ समझाते हुए 3 व्याख्याएं की हैं, उसकी परिभाषा दी है, और ये तीनों ही व्याख्याएं भारतीयों की शिक्षक तथा शिक्षा के प्रति दृष्टिकोण को स्पष्ट करती हैं, आचार्य के व्यक्तित्व एवं उसके कर्तव्य पर प्रकाश डालती हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि आखिर कैसे कोई शिक्षक कहलाने योग्य है, आचार्य कस्मात्, तो उसका उत्तर उन्होंने दिया है, पहला आचारम ग्राहयति, और दूसरा आचिनोति अर्थात, और तीसरा आचिनोति बुद्धिमितिवा। आपको लगेगा कि मैं संस्कृत में अपनी बात कह रहा हूं। गांधी जी ने कहा था कि प्रत्येक भारतीय को संस्कृत निश्चित रूप से कुछ न कुछ आनी चाहिए, और मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि भारत को समझना है तो संस्कृत को समझना पड़ेगा। तो यहाँ पहले का अर्थ है कि आचार्य शिष्य से आचार ग्रहण करवाता है, अर्थात उसका चरित्र निर्माण करता है, उसका व्यक्तिगत जीवन सुव्यवस्थित करता है और स्वयं के प्रति, समाज के प्रति और राष्ट्र के प्रति उत्तरदायी बनाता है। ये प्राथमिक कर्तव्य है। विगत कई दशकों में हम इस चीज को भूल गए हैं। मैं विस्तार में नहीं जाऊंगा, लेकिन इसको निरंतर हमें ध्यान में रखना है कि हमें स्वयं अपने शिक्षकीय दायित्व का निर्वहन करते हुए अपने व्यक्तित्व को भी उसी तरह से बनाना है जैसा हम शिष्य से चाहते हैं। दूसरा जो अर्थ है, उसका अर्थ है कि आचार्य ज्ञान की जो विषय हैं उन्हें शिष्य की बुद्धि में संचित करता है, अर्थात छात्र की जो जानकारी है उसके क्षेत्र को विस्तृत और समृद्ध करता है। यह उद्देश्य है, इसको हम सभी जानते हैं। और तीसरी जो व्याख्या है कि शिष्य की बुद्धि को वो विकसित कर दे, अर्थात उसे परिपक्व बना दे। छात्र स्वयं परिपक्व होकर के ज्ञान के विविध क्षेत्रों में अन्वेषण करने में समर्थ हो सके। ये तीसरी व्याख्या है। इन तीनों पर अगर आप ध्यान देंगे तो इसकी सर्वांगपूर्ण, इतनी सर्वांगपूर्ण परिभाषा आपको कहीं नहीं मिलेगी। जो एक शिक्षक का दायित्व है, उसका कर्तव्य है। मैं विस्तृत चर्चा इसलिए नहीं कर सकता क्योंकि समय सीमित होता है। हम उसी तरह से जो इतिहास की भारतीय दृष्टि है उसे भी हम कुछ विगत के कुछ दशकों में भूल गए हैं। बहुतों को हो सकता है कि अटपटा लगे क्योंकि हमने निरंतर एक ही दृष्टि से पढ़ाई की है, कभी इस तरह से सोचा नहीं है। वस्तुतः इतिहास का हमारा दृष्टिकोण, हमारा जो काल बोध है उस पर आश्रित है। काल के प्रवाह को भारत में रेखीय या जिसे लीनियर कहते हैं उस ढंग से कम, और चक्रीय जिसको साइक्लिकल कहते हैं उस ढंग से अधिक देखा गया है। भारतीय परंपरा इतिहास को पश्चिमी दृष्टि, जिसे डायक्रोनिक या ऐतिहासिक कालक्रमबद्धता कहते हैं, उसके स्थान पर सिंक्रोनिक अर्थात समकालिकता के ढंग से व्याख्यायित करती है। इतिहास, इतिहास अर्थात ऐसा ही होता आया है, ऐसा रहा है। यह काल के उस स्वरूप को देखने की दृष्टि है जो केवल अतीत या पास्ट नहीं है, सतत वर्तमान भी है तथा अपना निरंतर नवीनीकरण करते चलता है। काल नष्ट नहीं होता, हम भले चले जाएं। भर्तृहरि ने कहा है, कालो न यातो वयमे वयाता। महान भारतीय चिंतक सच्चिदानंद हीरानंद वात्स्यायन अज्ञे, उन्होंने पश्चिम की जो इतिहास दृष्टि है उस पर व्यंग्य करते हुए लिखा है। मैं वो पंक्तियां कोट करना चाहता हूं कि जिनका इतिहास होता है उनके देवता हंसते हुए नहीं होते। जिनका इतिहास होता है उनके देवता हंसते हुए नहीं होते। कैसे हंस सकते हैं, वो तो अतीत हो गए। और जिनके देवता हंसते हुए होते हैं उनका इतिहास नहीं होता, कैसे हो सकता है भला? तो ये इतिहास का जो पश्चिम दृष्टिकोण है उसके प्रति ये व्यंग्य है। उन्होंने ही ये संकेत किया है अज्ञेय ने कि आप सिद्ध करते रहिए कि राम और कृष्ण कभी हुए नहीं। इसका बहुत प्रयत्न होता रहा है, पता नहीं कितने कागज के पन्ने भर दिए गए हैं कि राम और कृष्ण कभी नहीं हुए। लेकिन क्या किसी श्रद्धालु को इससे कोई फर्क पड़ेगा? आप कहते रहिए। ऐतिहासिक वास्तविकता, उन्होंने लिखा है अज्ञेय ने कि ऐतिहासिक वास्तविकता इतिहास को ही ढहा सकेगी, पर जो कालातीत आयाम में है, सनातन है, वह ज्यों का त्यों रहेगा। इसलिए पश्चिम की दृष्टि से विचार करते हुए ऐतिहासिक के साथ प्रागैतिहासिक की भी कल्पना कर ली जाती है। जब इतिहास ही अतीत है तो प्रागैतिहास क्या हुआ? यही हिस्टोरिकल धारणा मानवीय अस्तित्व को भी कंपार्टमेंट्स में बांटती है। प्रसिद्ध साहित्यकार निर्मल वर्मा इसलिए लिखते हैं कि हमने बीते हुए उन अंशों को त्याज्य माना जिन्हें हमें वर्तमान में साथ लेकर नहीं चलना है। हम उतना ही अतीत अपने भीतर लेकर चलते हैं जितने की हमारे वर्तमान को आवश्यकता है। पश्चिमी इतिहास दृष्टि ने मानव मन को कॉलोनाइज करने की जो परंपरा प्रारंभ की, उसे मार्क्सवादी इतिहासकारों ने भारत में आगे बढ़ाया, निरंतर आगे बढ़ाया, तथा उसे भारतीय समाज को विकृत करने, तोड़ने एवं समाज में वैमनस्य पैदा करने के अस्त्र की तरह इस्तेमाल किया। द्रविड़ संस्कृति को अलग परिभाषित कर दिया, उसका भरसक प्रयत्न किया, किंतु तमिल की जो अखंड गौरव गाथा है और भारत की सांस्कृतिक विकास में उस विरासत को सर्वथा नकारने का, उसको दृष्टि से ओझल करने का प्रयास किया गया। इस हिस्टोरिसिज्म से बचने की आवश्यकता है। मैं समय अधिक नहीं लूंगा क्योंकि ये विस्तृत विषय होते हैं। आप सबने यहाँ 2 सप्ताह में जो पाया उसमें से जो अच्छी चीजें हैं उनको अपनी स्मृतियों की गठरी में लेकर के अवश्य जाइए। जो अच्छा नहीं लगा हो, मन में कुछ रुचिकर नहीं लगा हो, उसे यहीं छोड़ जाइएगा। जेएनयू की जो प्रकृति है, यहाँ की हरियाली है, यहाँ के जो जीव जंतु हैं, उनके साथ हम सभी आपकी पुनः ऑफलाइन प्रतीक्षा करेंगे। आप सबका धन्यवाद, अभिनंदन, आभार।
बहुत बहुत आभार, अभिनंदन सर आपका। और आपने जैसे कहा है कि एक शिक्षक की भूमिका और किस प्रकार के पाठ्यक्रम वर्तमान संदर्भ में होने की आवश्यकता है, आपके व्याख्यान से हम सभी के ज्ञान में वृद्धि हुई है। हम सभी आपके आभारी हैं। नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू कंटिन्यू द प्रोसीडिंग फर्दर, एंड नाउ I would like to humbly request the coordinator for the history professor course, Professor Hiraman Tiwari sir. Professor Hiraman Tiwari is the chairperson for Center for Historical Studies, and he is also former dean for the Atal Bihari Vajpayee School of Entrepreneurship and Management, and finance officer of the JNU, and the chairperson for Media Center also. Sir, my humble request to you, kindly present a brief review about your course. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev ji. Very kind of you, and for your generous words. It's a pleasure to be here today, in particular because our new Honorable Vice Chancellor has taken over to guide us in the coming years. We are delighted, as Professor Pandey ji said. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor JNU, Honorable Vice Chancellor Indira Gandhi National Open University, Professor Rao, and my colleague and friend and the director of HRDC, Professor Pandey, who has just given a riveting speech about what a refresher course should be. And also he has done 90% of my job because he spoke much on history. Since he also talked about how history is being done or has been done over this past 7 odd decades, since I don't have much time, let me quote to you, to Madam, and to the Vice Chancellor IGNU, and to Pandeyji, something a scholar with whom I don't particularly agree from the West and whom we all know very well. I'm talking, of course, of Hegel. I'm quoting from one of his lectures, which was later published by his followers. And then in 1929, it later on was published. It's called Vorlesung über die Philosophie der Geschichte, that is the rumination on philosophy of history. I'll quote one paragraph just to suggest, and read it as if you're reading for your own history. Of course, the reason why I said I don't particularly agree with Hegel, because there are so many things that he has said, but he's talking about his history, the history of his world, and here it, of course, means the Western world, European world. He says, history represents, and I quote, history represents the evolution of the awareness of the spirit of its own freedom. Every step being different from every other one has its own determined and peculiar principle. In history, such a principle becomes the determination of the spirit, a peculiar national spirit, ein besonder Volksgeist. It is here that it expresses concretely all the aspects of its consciousness and will, its total reality. It is this that imparts a common stamp to its religion, its political constitution, its social ethics, its legal system, its customs, but also to its science, its art, and its technical skills. These particular individual qualities must be understood as deriving from that general peculiarity the particular principle of a nation. Conversely, it is from the factual detail or details present in history that the general character of this peculiarity has to be derived. Now, this is his view of Western history. To me, although he has his own particular notion of history, world history in particular, and for him, the world history revolves around Europe, where it is considered the civilization of the world in his and his followers' view. But if you read each sentence, almost represents what Professor Pandey has just mentioned about us. And if I quote one verse, and it seems it's almost translating it, and this is how peculiar history is, because history is a very controversial subject. So, and I would quote not from history, but from a particular source in ancient India, which talks about how we should know about our past. Etat desha prasutasya sakashad agrajanmanah swam charitram shiksheran prithivyam sarvamanava. Each country, each civilization has moments, has people, has personalities, has events, which then go on to teach the later generation. If we follow to study and understand our past, our history, then perhaps it will be well for the civilization. Since there is not much time, I just wanted to suggest it is with this spirit that I thought I tried to collect the resource persons from various places. I had decided the theme, or if you like, the running thread or the song of this refresher course would be Indian history at 75. Since this is the flavor of the time, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So I thought, I requested almost every speaker that this is what I want. And I do hope that, as Professor Pandeyji just mentioned, I told you he has done more than 80% of my job. You have people from all over the country, around 40 professors from various colleges and universities in India, from north to south, from east to west. And so, as he also said, that it is a pleasure to meet them all, to learn from them. I only learn from them. I don't think I manage anything to impart to them. That is up to them to, and as I agree with Pandey, that if something that you have not liked over the 2 weeks, just dump it here in JNU. We'll try and reprocess it and recycle it and come back with something else. And I'm very pleased, and my fellow coordinator, Dr. Virendranath Prasad, has worked very hard to put together a set of lectures, which I hope has benefited all of you. And that you will remember not only this refresher course, but how people have come and talked to you, how you have interacted with them, how the staff at HRDC, right from the director, Professor Pandey, to Assistant Director, Professor Sanjeev Sharma, and then other staff have had their attitude towards how to facilitate your course. Although it is virtual, it is online, but as Professor Pandey again said, that if you're offline, perhaps you will enjoy even more. Nevertheless, I follow him in inviting you that I hope you will come sometime in future where we can meet again and in better days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, and our deep sense of gratitude to you. And we highly appreciate that the resource person you have arranged from the diverse field from the different part of the country. And we will again thank you very much, because resource person, the successful completion is the credit goes to only the coordinator of the courses. So we highly appreciate you, sir. Thank you. So moving further, now I would like to request Dr. Parimala V. Rao, ma'am. I request you, ma'am, kindly present a brief report of your course. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Sanjeevji. Respected Professor Shantishri Dhulipudi Pandit, our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Respected Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor of IGNOU. Respected Professor Brijesh Kumar Pandey, our director, under whose guidance we were able to successfully coordinate the refresher course, 5th refresher course in teacher education. It's been a real honor for me to coordinate this course. We had 27 participants. First week we had 17 lectures, and second week we had 15 lectures. All in all, we had 32 lectures, covering a wide range of issues from sociology of education to economics of education, history of education, psychology of education, teacher education, curriculum and pedagogy. And we had one session on CAS promotions and how to apply for CAS promotion, how to calculate, etc. We also had a series of lectures on new education policy. We had eminent resource persons like Professor Girishwar Mishra, Professor R. Govinda, and a host of brilliant scholars. We also organized a special lecture by Professor Brian Hatcher, who from the Tufts University in the United States, who is a Sanskrit and Bengali scholar. He spoke eloquently on Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, the Sanskrit College at Calcutta, and Bengali school textbooks. The first set of Bengali school textbooks were written by Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. As a historian, I have very little to say after Professor Pandey spoke so eloquently and Professor Hiraman Tiwari spoke so equally eloquently on the need to take a serious relook at history. I'm just speaking unpreparedly here. For the past 30 or 40 years, we have been, imagining history. Not actually going to the archives and archival sources. And we have been, repeating a kind of myths. We have created a number of myths in history in the past 30 or 40 years, which people did not believe before that. But then a number of generations today believe that. To give you a very simple example, we have, our great knowledge tradition, the Indian knowledge tradition has been reduced to oral tradition. It's something like, very, very basic, very elementary, very tribal kind of an, oral tradition existed. India is the only country in the world that has produced 500 texts, 1 lakh inscriptions, and 12 scripts. No oral tradition can create this. We have had texts, in the Sanskrit, professors, if you look at, Sanskrit Pandits, if you look at 18th and 19th century, we had a whole series of, professors who had textbooks, who had handwritten textbooks through which they taught. But we have just forgotten about that. We also had, another myth in his history of education, particularly, is that Brahmins controlled the entire knowledge, transmission of knowledge, and there were only students and teachers there. Archival data tells you that 75% of students in indigenous schools, I gave a long lecture both in history RC and our education RC, 75% of our students in indigenous vernacular schools came from non-Brahmin caste, and there were even Dalit students in the indigenous vernacular schools. But we have somehow made history as a kind of a binary, us versus them kind of a binary history that has been done. There's a very serious need to address this. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sharing your views and the brief report about your courses. We would also like to thank Dr. Arvind Kumar Mishra ji, who is also the another coordinator for this course. I would like to go move further, but I would like to quote here from the Nobel laureates Rabindranath Tagore that a teacher can never truly teach unless he is still learning himself. A lamp can never light another lamp unless it continue to burn its own flame. The teacher who has come to the end of his subject, who has no living traffic with his knowledge, but merely repeat his lesson to his student, can only load their mind, he cannot quicken them. Because these HRDC courses are mandatory for CAS promotions, but it is also enhanced the existing knowledge of all the participants, like all of us. And it is also because there are many education tools which are updating and the latest. So that also provide us one opportunity to learn new things also. So now I am profoundly elated to take an opportunity to introduce very briefly and invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Jawaharlal Nehru University, Madam Professor Santi Siri D. Pandit. And we proudly say that, and we are also proud that Madam is the first woman Vice Chancellor of JNU or the JNU history. So it is also the source of the inspiration, the motivation, and the encouragement, not only for the JNU faculty or the student, but all over the India or the globe. Madam Shanti Siri is a renowned political scientist, and he was working earlier in Savitribai Phule University, graduated and post-graduated from Presidency College of Madras in history and the psychology, PhD in foreign international relation from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Madam's specialization is international politics and economics, global governance, security and human rights, and India's foreign policy are some of them. Presently, Madam is also the member for ICSSR, UGC, Indian Institute of Advanced Studies, and President of Indian Political Science Association. Madam Pandit is multilingual and fluent in English, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Marathi, and Sanskrit, having written more than half a dozen books and about 200 articles. We welcome you, Madam, and we humbly request you to address our participant. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Respected Professor Brajesh Kumar Pandey, Director HRDC, a very dynamic director. I'm so happy, sir, that you're doing a lot for teacher education and this. Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor IGNU, Professor Hiraman Tiwari, Professor Parimala V. Rao, Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, and dear friends and all participants of both the courses, which I'm told is the 38th in history, a very important area where we need to, understand the way of writing history and interpreting history. And I'm told it's the 5th in teacher education, a very important part of the new education policy 2020. I congratulate the HRDC team headed by Professor Brajesh Kumar Pandey, whom I think speaks Hindi so beautifully. I hope one day I'll be able to speak as well as he does. I would only start with the great Vice President and President of India, Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan, who was himself a teacher and on whose birthday we celebrate Teachers' Day. He said a teacher teaches and is a good communicator. Teachers should be the best mind in the country. So one thing I'm very happy that JNU, one of India's top universities, is that we should attract the best minds because we should make students think. And I think most of the faculty, I'm sure, do it because I'm a product of this university. Whatever I am today is thanks to the Jawaharlal Nehru University. I had brilliant professors in the School of International Relations. When I studied here, some of the greatest minds that India has produced. So I thank this university for building people of the next generation, and I hope we also do that. He also said that the ultimate self is free from sin, free from old age, and free from death and grief, free from hunger and thirst, which desires nothing and imagines nothing. This is very true for history. I just want to raise a few points because many of you are much better than me in your subject. The one thing is I'm a student of political science. Only in BA history I did, but MA was political science. First is the idea that history is a very patriarchal construction. It is his story. Why not her story? I just want you people as historians to think about it. Then another thing I want to say is Radhakrishnan made a very important point. He wrote the book called The Hindu Way of Life. Because he said there is a huge difference when you try to compare. Because I was happy Professor Parimala Rao had raised the issue of binaries. Because when we take Western frameworks, I'm not against Western frameworks, but the question is they look only in binaries. Whereas the Indian framework is more in the idea of concentric circles, meaning one identity need not contradict another. Whereas for them, It is if you're with God, you're there. If you're not with God, you're with Satan. Most of you should remember that I'm a student of foreign policy. The thing Professor K.P. Mishra used to teach us is John Foster Dulles called non-alignment as immoral. Why? Because he says you are not with America, you're non-aligned. So you are neither with Satan nor with God. So I think the binary frameworks are very limiting in understanding Indian history. And I think very point that is very well taken, which was raised. And I'm happy that we are trying to bring in new ideas in trying to construct frameworks in the study of history. And teachers, I would say, are the ones who should do it. And teachers should have an open mind. Another I would request in a place like, I'm very happy that the team at HRDC is trying to build an alternative narrative to the hegemonic narrative. I think there should be coexistence of all narratives because we come from a tradition of ekam sat vipraha bahuda vadanti. That is, truth may be one, but there can be several paths to it. I think we are the only culture that celebrates diversity, cultural diversity. So I'm so happy that you have raised this. And finally, one thing I would like to say that teachers, when they think we know everything, we cease to learn. I think teachers also as we teacher education. One or two ideas about history, because all of you are great historians. I'll be carrying coal to Manchester, but still I would like to repeat myself. One is the famous quote of E.H. Carr. Sir, independent history, India's history has not followed the advice given by the famous historian E.H. Carr in his book, What is History? He said facts are sacred, but interpretations can vary. Whereas free India, modern India, after independence, we have written history where interpretation is sacred and facts can vary. I think this is something that historians have to raise, contest, and also be able to, at the level of narratives, we should be able to construct new norms. Can we do it? And this is something that I want all of you in the teaching community, because JNU is thought to be India's best university. And I'm so proud to come. I'm first among equals, so please don't treat me as something very different because I'm a teacher myself. And in this year of the Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, I think we should renew our knowledge, and I'm happy HRDC is doing this renewal periodically to all teachers. Please don't take it as only a routine. I want you to open up even the hornet's so that, we think. And this is a thing. And finally, I just want to, because of a paucity of time, I think multiplicity of views is very important. Independent India has had distorted history. There are fault lines. I think Professor Tiwari would know it better than me. And invaders, we are a history of invasions, which is not true, from the Aryan invasion. And always the idea of resistance and our victories are seldom mentioned. So we are shown as a history of losers or of the defeated. This may be, there's an African proverb that says, unless the hunter writes the history, unless the hunted write their history, it's extreme. And we have towers of silence in India, which is very unfortunate. I think we have to break that at the Jawaharlal Nehru University and set a blazing trail. Stories from below the Vindhyas, where I come from the southernmost state of Tamil Nadu. We want to reclaim history from Delhi centricism. I think there's too much of Delhi centricism. There are no homes. The Cholas who ruled for 2000 years are totally missing. I think the greatest emperor was Rajendra Chola. We don't see India as a maritime seafaring power. We think we are a land power. Shivaji, Krishna Deva Raya, the Pandyas, Cholas, Cheras, our homes. Where are they? So please do, and there's a refusal to acknowledge the darkest side of our medieval history. Will Durant said the greatest genocide took place during the invasions, or in the medieval Islamic invasions in the medieval. Why are we shy? Unless we reconcile with history, I don't think we will be able to, there will always be this loss. I think it is very important that we as academicians and in the most greatest tradition of academic excellence, we must be very, very objective of history, because we can't say that past history cannot be written with the fear that we upset contemporary sensibilities. And shaky and whitewashed history will never do us any good. So I tell historians, you are still in the colonial period, please decolonize your mind. History has to heal the past. Someone will be hurt, but truth hurts. So hence, I would end up with these calls to most of you that even the freedom struggle, we have written as though it is a non-violent struggle. Is it true? No. The revolutionaries, the partition was the bloodiest partition. So please, let us be honest, and we were not, where were the revolutionaries? All the revolutionaries have been ignored from different parts of the country. So to historians and teachers, my final appeal is, let us bring in JNU a new revolution of more honesty and follow what E.H. Carr said, facts are sacred, interpretations can vary. So I look forward to to HRDC, which has initiated, sir. Let me congratulate you for bringing new ideas in, and to Professor Hiraman Tiwari, who is himself an eminent historian, and Parimala Rao, who is with teachers education, I guess. So I'm so happy that I've been invited here. Thank you once again for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And we extend our deep sense of gratitude to you for enlightening all of us, for your thought-provoking words. And you have also highlighted a very key issues which need to be worked as being a faculty member, being either the historian or the geographer or other faculty member. So we were honored to listen to you, ma'am, and thank you very much, ma'am. Now we would like to I would like to invite and briefly introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, Professor Nageshwar Rao, sir, who is a Vice Chancellor of this, one of the largest university of the globe. Professor Rao was also earlier Vice Chancellor in University of Kumaon University, Nainital, Vice Chancellor at Uttar Pradesh Rajasthan Tandon Open University, and earlier worked as a Pro Vice Chancellor of IGNOU. He was also confirmed fellow at Commonwealth of Learning in Canada in Scotland during September 2019. And he was also the president of Indian Accounting Association, Saraswati Savan. And he is also actively involved in developing appropriate policy framework at not only the national but international level for promoting online education around the globe. My humble request to you, sir, kindly address all of us. Over to you, sir.
आप सभी को नमस्कार। सबसे पहले आदरणीय प्रोफेसर पंडित जी को बधाई। दूर से ही सही लेकिन मुलाकात हुई और सबसे पहले सुनने का हमें अवसर भी मिला। दक्षिण की हैं तो हम भी दक्षिण के हो गए, तो उसका भी अलग से एक दक्षिण उत्तर में कैसे काम कर सकते हैं ये भी हम लोग देख लें। बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने बोला भी, और पहली बात बहुत गर्व की बात होती है जिस विश्वविद्यालय में हम पढ़े हुए हैं और वहाँ का कुलपति होना बहुत गर्व की बात होती है। उस शहर में रहना और उसके बाद उसका कुलपति होना, वहाँ के कल्चर को सीखा हुआ है और उस कल्चर को आगे बढ़ाना है। और जैसा कि उन्होंने शुरू में ही अपने इस वक्तव्य में दोनों ही विषयों पर, चाहे वो हिस्ट्री हो चाहे वो टीचर एजुकेशन हो, दोनों ही विषयों पर बहुत गहन चिंतन के साथ जो बातें रखी है, वो शायद जो विश्वविद्यालय के अन्य शिक्षक साथी हैं और जो हमारे प्रतिभागी हैं, दोनों ही को बहुत लाभ हुआ होगा। हिस्ट्री को हिस्टरी इसी प्रकार से जो उसके जहां जहां हम लोगों को गैप्स मिले हैं, उन गैप्स को भी उन्होंने आइडेंटिफाई किया है कि हिस्ट्री में कहाँ का गैप्स हैं, और पहले ही वक्तव्य में उन्होंने एक इशारा कर दिया कि हिस्ट्री को किस दिशा में जाना चाहिए। बहुत बड़ी बात है और बहुत कम समय में सारगर्भित बातें आप लोगों के सामने रखी। टीचर एजुकेशन पे भी उन्होंने बातें कही। आदरणीय ब्रजेश पांडे जी, आदरणीय संजीव शर्मा जी, आदरणीय प्रोफेसर तिवारी जी और आदरणीय प्रोफेसर राव, आपने हमें आमंत्रित किया, मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। मैं तो यहाँ पर लगभग स्थायी आमंत्रित समापन अतिथि हूँ, और पांडे जी प्रायः जब भी इमरजेंसी रहती है तो मुझे बुला ही लेते हैं और मैं आसानी से उपलब्ध भी हो जाता हूँ। जहाँ तक हमारे साथियों का प्रश्न है, जो 38 हमारे हिस्ट्री के प्रतिभागी हैं और 27 हमारे टीचर एजुकेशन के प्रतिभागी हैं, हमारे शिक्षक साथी हैं। दोनों ही विषय बहुत प्रासंगिक है। इतिहास परिवर्तन की बहुत आवश्यकता है। इतिहास जिस तरह से लिखा गया है उस पर बार बार चर्चाएं हो रही हैं, और हम लोगों को निश्चित रूप से उस दिशा में सोचना चाहिए और इम्प्लीमेंट भी करना चाहिए, क्योंकि समय बहुत निकला चला जा रहा है और राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति भी इस दिशा में इशारा कर रही है कि हमें इस दिशा में काम करना है। टीचर एजुकेशन तो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। आज देखिए, कोरोना काल में, कोरोना काल के पहले और कोरोना काल के बाद टीचर एजुकेशन में आमूलचूल परिवर्तन की दिशा में बहुत आवश्यकताएं हैं। डिजिटल एजुकेशन आ गया है, ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन आ गया है। अभी बजट स्पीच में डिजिटल यूनिवर्सिटीज बनने की बात कही गई है। ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन में भी अगर आप देखें तो पूरे देश में लगभग 58 विश्वविद्यालय ने ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम्स की ओर बढ़ने का प्रयास किया है, और जेएनयू की तो विशेष भूमिका इसमें रहेगी ही, क्योंकि इनके पूर्व कुलपति भी, जो वर्तमान में यूजीसी के चेयरमैन हैं, वो हमेशा ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन को बढ़ावा देने की बात करते रहे हैं और अभी भी कर रहे हैं। इसको हम लोग को बढ़ाना है, और जेएनयू का बहुत बड़ा नाम है, उसकी बहुत महत्व भी है। अभी ओडीएल ऑनलाइन रेगुलेशंस 2020 इफेक्टिव है, उसमें भी परिवर्तन हो रहे हैं जिससे कि और लोगों को ऑनलाइन और डिजिटल एजुकेशन की ओर बढ़ावा बढ़े। लेकिन टीचर एजुकेशन जो पेडागोजी है, जो कंटेंट्स को किस प्रकार से लोगों तक पहुंचाया जाए, मूक्स को किस प्रकार से इफेक्टिव वे में लोगों को प्रेजेंट कराया जाए, मूक्स के द्वारा किस प्रकार से हम लोग ट्रेनिंग करें। भारत सरकार का जो स्वयं प्लेटफॉर्म है, जिसमें 3000 से ज्यादा कोर्सेज हैं और जिसमें निःशुल्क इन कोर्सेज की पढ़ाई होती है, लगभग 2 करोड़ लोगों ने उसमें रजिस्ट्रेशन करा रखा है। क्या उसका हम लोग फायदा नहीं उठा सकते? जब हम डिजिटल एजुकेशन की बात कर रहे हैं, जब जीईआर को हमें 50% बढ़ाना है, तो यहाँ पर पेडागोजी टीचर एजुकेशन की बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हम इस पेडागोजी को कैसे चेंज करें? क्योंकि हम सब ये जानते हैं, और टीचर विशेष रूप से जानता है और ये लोग पहले शुरू में ही मुझे याद है कि पहले ही लेक्चर या दूसरे लेक्चर में कहते रहते हैं कि कोई भी बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति 15 मिनट से ज़्यादा लगातार नहीं सुन सकता, और हम लगातार सुनाते रहते हैं, 40 मिनट हो, 2 घंटा हो। लेकिन जब हम टीचर बन जाते हैं तो बड़े राहत की सांस लेते हैं कि हमें अब सुनना नहीं है, हमको सुनाना है। लेकिन सारा ज्ञान जो हमें मिलता है वो सुनने से मिलता है। इसको किस प्रकार से हम बेहतर बनाएं, ये टीचर एजुकेशन वाले ही बता सकते हैं। और राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में टीचर एजुकेशन पर अलग से विशेष प्रावधान दिए गए हैं, और पहली बार राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में टीचर एजुकेशन को विषयों के साथ जोड़ा गया। बीए के साथ टीचर एजुकेशन, बीकॉम के साथ टीचर एजुकेशन, बीएससी के साथ टीचर एजुकेशन, इस तरह की बात करके 4 वर्षीय टीचर एजुकेशन को भी कहने की बात कही गई है। हम पेडागोजी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। हम किस प्रकार से अपनी बात को अपने छात्रों को पहुंचाएं। ये छात्र आज से 50 वर्ष पूर्व का छात्र नहीं है। जो चुपचाप केवल सुनता रहता था, आज उसको लगता है कि क्लास में उसको रेलेवेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं मिल रही है, वो नहीं बैठ रहा है, वो देखता है गूगल से बेटर इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, लाइब्रेरीज में ऑनलाइन लाइब्रेरी से बेहतर इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है। तो हमें किस प्रकार से अपने आप को अपडेट करना है, और शायद टीचर एजुकेशन का जो रिफ्रेशर कोर्स है वो उन सारे प्रश्नों का बेहतर ढंग से जवाब दे रहा होगा, और हमारे सभी शिक्षक साथी लगे भी होंगे। 2 साल पहले जब लोगों से कहा गया कि आप लोग जूम से लोगों से बात करिए, तो कई शिक्षक साथी घबरा गए होंगे, लेकिन आज हम लोग कंफर्टेबल हैं। आज हम लोग पूरा रिफ्रेशर कोर्स इससे जूम से करा रहे हैं, कहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं आ रही है। और इस तरह का वर्कशॉप जो वैलिडेटरी सेशन है, इसको भी हम लोग जूम से करा रहे हैं, इसमें भी कहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं आ रही। तो आप ये देखिए कि घर बैठे हम लोग कितना समय बचा रहे हैं, कितने आर्थिक संसाधनों को बचा रहे हैं, लेकिन इसमें हमारा कंसंट्रेशन किस प्रकार से और बेहतर हो सके, इस पर हम लोग को ध्यान देने की आवश्यकता है। और हम लोग ये देखें कि हम लोग किस प्रकार से इनका कंसंट्रेशन और बेहतर कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि कई बार लोग कहते हैं कि ये जो जूम है, इसके बजाय क्या हम चैनल के द्वारा पहुंच सकते हैं। अभी तक हमारे पास स्वयं प्रभा में 33 चैनल थे, और अभी आपने सुना होगा कि बजट अभिभाषण में लगातार ये चर्चा हो रही है कि इन चैनलों की संख्या बढ़ानी है। अब तो 200 चैनल्स की बात हो रही है। और जो स्कूल एजुकेशन है, उसमें चैनल के आधार पर हम लोगों तक पहुंचने का किस प्रकार से प्रयास करें, इस दिशा में लगातार चिंतन हो रहा है। लेकिन चैनल को पढ़ाने के लिए हम शिक्षक मेंटली प्रिपेयर्ड हैं? क्या हम कैमरा के सामने खड़े हो सकते हैं? हम लोग अभी तक क्लासरूम में बच्चों के सामने खड़े होते थे, लेकिन अब कैमरा के सामने खड़े होना है और अपनी बात को बताना है और किस तरह से इंटरेक्शन को प्रोग्रेस करना है। शायद जो हमारा टीचर एजुकेशन है, इन सभी बिंदुओं पर एक नए तरीके से अपने चिंतन को आगे बढ़ा रहा है। हमारे जो शिक्षक साथी हैं, जो इस 2 हफ्ते के रिफ्रेशर कोर्स में लगातार सुन रहे होंगे विद्वानों से अपनी बातें, उनके लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण चिंतन की विषय है। तो सोचें, आगे बढ़ें, कैसे हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, कैसे हम बेहतर पेडागोजी यूज करें कि वो जो बच्चा है जिसको ये मालूम है कि 15 मिनट से ज्यादा लगातार हम सुन नहीं सकते, साइकोलॉजिकली बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति अगर है तो उसको हम लगातार 40 मिनट, लगातार 2 घंटे, लगातार 4 घंटे कैसे सुन सकते हैं। जब सिनेमा हॉल में फिल्म की बात आती है तो 3 घंटे लगातार एक एक शब्द याद रखते हैं, लेकिन क्लासरूम में उसको किस प्रकार से उसका कंसंट्रेशन लेवल बढ़ाना है, कैसे उसको प्रमोट करना है। तो टीचर एजुकेशन को इसीलिए राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण स्थान दिया गया है। चाहे वो हिस्ट्री की टीचिंग हो, चाहे वो इंग्लिश की टीचिंग हो, चाहे वो साइंस की टीचिंग हो, हर एक की पेडागोजी अलग अलग होती है। मैनेजमेंट की टीचिंग बिल्कुल अलग होती है। फर्स्ट डे IIM अहमदाबाद में जब क्लास ली जाती है तो उसमें डिफरेंट डिसिप्लिन के बच्चे रहते हैं, और फर्स्ट डे दे टॉक अबाउट ए केस, और उसमें 70 मिनट में 60 मिनट जो नए एडमिटेड स्टूडेंट्स वो बोलते हैं और 10 मिनट केवल टीचर बोलता है। वो भी एक पेडागोजी है, जिस पेडागोजी को कहते हैं केस स्टडी मेथड, रोल प्ले मेथड है। तो ये जो पेडागोजीज, क्या हम लोग ये जो हायर एजुकेशन है या जिसमें UG और PG प्रोग्राम्स है, इसमें हम लोग किस प्रकार से यूज कर सकते हैं, किस प्रकार से उससे बेहतर परिणाम आ सकते हैं। MCA की टीचिंग, MBA की टीचिंग, MA इंग्लिश की टीचिंग और MA हिस्ट्री की टीचिंग, पेडागोजी में वेरिएशंस हैं। उन वेरिएशंस को हम लोग किस प्रकार से आइडेंटिफाई कर सके, उनके रिसर्चेस को किस प्रकार से प्रमोट कर सके, ये सब ऐसे आयाम है जिस पर आप लोगों को चिंतन करना है। क्योंकि अब तक विशेषज्ञों ने जो आपको जिन बिंदुओं पर बातचीत की है, वो बिंदु तो आपके लिए महत्वपूर्ण है ही, लेकिन अब आपको एक चिंतन के नए राह को भी ढूंढना है। हम और कैसे और बेहतर बन सकते हैं शिक्षक, और अपने साथियों को, अपने जो छात्र हैं उनको और बेहतर कैसे बना सकते हैं, इस दिशा में भी आप सबको काम करना है। हमारी शुभकामनाएं आप सबके साथ हैं, और मुझे अवसर दिया आप लोगों ने, और सबसे बड़ी बात माननीय कुलपति महोदया ने जो तर्क संगत बातें आपके सामने प्रस्तुत किया, उससे निश्चित रूप से आप सबका मनोबल बढ़ा होगा और आप लोग अच्छा करें, और जो राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति है उसके क्रियान्वयन में आप सब अपना अमूल्य सहयोग प्रदान करें। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार।
बहुत बहुत आभार, धन्यवाद सर। हम आपके आभारी हैं। आपने सही कहा कि हम जब भी बुलाते हैं आप अपना समय निकाल के अपना आशीर्वाद देने हमें आते हैं। हम आगे आने वाले समय में भी आपको बुलाते रहेंगे और हमें आशा है कि आप इसी तरह हमारे मार्गदर्शन करते रहेंगे। आपने सत्य कहा कि अभी जो टीचिंग लर्निंग है, चाहे वो मशीन लर्निंग है हमारा और डिस्टिंग लर्निंग है, इसमें एक्टिव लर्निंग, कोलैबोरेटिव लर्निंग, चाहे वो क्रिएटिव लर्निंग है, बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। मैं आपके साथ साझा करना चाहता हूं कि सर जो हमें प्रतिभागियों के फीडबैक मिलता है, उनके बेसिस पे वी गॉट दैट they are highly benefited through this online HRDC courses, because earlier there were many like our female participants who may not be able to join these courses because due to their the long distance or due to other issues. Now they are successfully completing their courses online. So thank you very much, sir. And now we are moving further, and this is the time for the participant, that the sharing experience from the participant. Madam, generally we have one full session for feedback session and with the participant, but we voluntarily invite the name from the participant to sharing their experience in the valedictory session, because due to the paucity of the time. And generally what we do that whatever the name we have collected, on the basis of that lottery system, we can select one female candidate and one male candidate, and generally we invite in this the valedictory session to share their experience. So we would like to request Dr. Devraj Chakravarti from the history. I request Dr. Chakravarti, please introduce briefly about your institutions and your name, and please share your experience. I request you, please, you would like to share your experience. We have already collected your feedback and received your feedback, and your feedback is very, very important to us to improve in every courses. I request you, Chakravarti, please share your experience. Over to you, Dr. Chakravarti.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Namaskar to all. I am Dr. Devraj Chakravarti, Assistant Professor in the Postgraduate Department of History at Baharampur Girls College, Baharampur, Murshidabad, West Bengal. Respected Professor Shantrishi D. Pandey, Madam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Madam, first of all, I would like to congratulate you for your new assignment. Professor Nageshwar Rao, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, Delhi. Director and Assistant Director, sirs, of UGC HRDC JNU. Our respected course coordinators, Professor Hiraman Tiwari and Dr. Birendranath Prasad, and two other course coordinators. Warm greetings from the core of heart of all participants in this 38th refreshers course in history conducted by UGC HRDC Jawaharlal Nehru University. I am delighted and honored to share my views on behalf of my fellow friends. JNU itself an identity for promoting quality education across the globe. I would like to quote Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in Bengali, then I will render it into English. Chitto jetha bhoy shunno uchcho jetha shir, gyan jetha mukto. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. That is fit for Jawaharlal Nehru University itself. And all these ideas and the thoughts have been truly represented through this refreshers course. That the title of the course or the theme of the course that has been expressed by Professor Tiwari, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, history writing in India at the 75, is very much relevant today for rethinking our past and how to write history. That is a very crucial task to all of us, as it is rightly been pointed out, Madam Vice Chancellor. This entire course was designed in a very meticulous way, wherein one hand participants are from across the country, and at the same way, resource persons were equally from the different institutions of the country. That shows a glimpse of entire India. That has been rightly been pointed out by the Honorable Director of HRDC, Professor Pandey sir. The process of interaction was so good as it developed our ideas and thoughts. We are indeed grateful to Professor Hiraman Tiwari and Dr. Birendranath Prasad for giving us such a wonderful course. They offered us such a wonderful course I owe my sincere thanks on behalf of all participants to them. On behalf of our dear friends, I also convey our sincere regards and thanks to all respected resource persons who shared their valuable, vast knowledge that indeed a great way of thinking to us. Many thanks to all staff members of UGC HRDC Jawaharlal Nehru University, especially Gauravji and Nehaji for their excellent support. Again, many thanks to all of you. Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Chakravarti, for sharing the experience on behalf of all the fellow participants. Now, I would like to request Dr. J. Jimmy Merlin. Kindly share your experience. Over to you, Dr. J. Jimmy Merlin.
Good evening. I'm Jamie Merlin Rani from the PG and Research Department of History, Sadakatalappa College, Tirunelveli, Tamil Nadu. Warm greetings to all gathered in this platform, and I thank the Vice Chancellor Ma'am, JNU, the Vice Chancellor Sir, IGNO, and the coordinators and the team for giving me such an opportunity to say a few words. I come from the southernmost part of Tamil Nadu, India. The 2-week refresher course really refreshed my thoughts and my ideas on my subject. There is a vast difference in thinking and research between the North and the South, and the course broadened my outlook on how I should approach, and it widened my knowledge regarding research. I am greatly indebted to HRDC JNU for bringing resource persons from diverse fields, and I like to mention a few of them who attracted me a lot, and they were Professor Indiver, Professor Birendranath, Professor Vijayalakshmi, Professor Saxena, Professor Saklani, Professor Parimala, and Professor Haider. The interaction we had after each session was more informative, and it was a very healthy one. And I really thank the JNU for widening my knowledge, and also thank the participants for instigating various questions on the related topic we had for each session. The only regret which I had was that was not able to participate directly in this program, which would have still more be useful. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Rani, for sharing your experience. Now, moving further, I would like to request Dr. Pragya, a participant from the Teacher Education Refers course. Kindly share your experience. Over to you, Dr. Pragya.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. This is Lieutenant Dr. Pragya Gupta from Department of Teacher Education, Central University of South Bihar, Gaya. I am working as an assistant professor there. Good afternoon to all of you. Dignitaries on virtual dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor, JNU, Professor Shanti Shri Dhulipuri Pandit Ma'am, and I congratulate you for your new assignment, and definitely you are the inspiration as a leader for all the women of India. This is a very great to see a first time a lady Vice Chancellor for JNU. Congratulations, ma'am. Honorable Vice Chancellor, IGNU, Professor Nageshwar Rao, sir. Director JNU HRDC Professor Brajesh Pandey, sir. Assistant Director HRDC JNU Dr. Sanjeev Sharma, sir. And my dear esteemed colleagues. First of all, I must say thanks to JNU HRDC to providing me this wonderful opportunity to learn and to refresh my knowledge and provide us this wonderful opportunity to interact with the renowned social scientists and the researchers, those who are expert in their own field. So I am very much thankful for this opportunity. I congratulate to all the organizers and the organizing team of this program who very meticulously designed this program. All the lectures were so relevant with our area, and some lectures were excellent, and we learn a lot. Especially I would like to point out or highlight the lecture of Professor Parimala ma'am. This lecture forced us to see the history of teacher education in a new direction, and it was really, it was eye-opening for us. We learned a lot that how the policies are made and how they are implemented, what are the glitch and what are our responsibility, how we can contribute as a teacher for the education system of India. So the learning experience overall are good. We interacted throughout the program to all the resource person, and this interaction and asking the question were encouraged, which shows the democratic nature of JNU. And even the most you can say the new thing for me, that organizing a feedback session between the program and some on-demand lectures were organized. That was very good, which shows that the whole program was the need-based program, that what we were expecting. So our expectations were fulfilled up to some extent. And especially Gauravji, Nehaji, they were so cooperative and responsive. Our both the coordinators were approachable and they were available for us. They tried to fulfill all the demands, but still, I have some suggestions. First of all, due to the COVID, we are in virtual mode. So attending all the 4 lectures back to back, it was a little bit tough for us. So it is my humble request, if it is possible, please organize a one lecture in an interactive manner or some activity based manner. So that will be good for us. One thing. Second, we need some more lectures on research methodology, because we all are indulged in researches. So if we will get the good training, or we will be harnessed in this field, then we will be able to produce good researches. And especially we expect something more from JNU in this direction. And second thing, that definitely this time period is reduced by UGC, so definitely HRDC cannot do anything in this regard, but overall experience was good. So I pay my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of my all the participants and from my side. And this program was benefited us a lot. And definitely it is not the end of the learning. This is the starting of learning. We are not going to end up our group. We'll collaborate together. We will again and again try to catch you and learn something more from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pragya, for sharing your views and giving some suggestion also. We will definitely incorporate some of the suggestion in coming courses also. Now we have a last participant, Dr. Tarun Tyagi from the same courses. I would like to request Dr. Tyagi, please share your experience. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you, sir, for providing this opportunity. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Esteemed dignitaries on the virtual dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Santishri Dalipudi Pandit, and Honorable Vice Chancellor, IGNU, Professor Nageshwar Rao, and Director HRDC JNU, Professor Brajesh Pandey sir, and Assistant Director Professor Sanjeev Sharma sir, and coordinators of the 5th refresher course in the teacher education, Professor A.K. Mishra sir, Professor Parimala Rao ma'am, and coordinators of the history course also, and my dear fellow participants. I feel privileged to get this opportunity, not only to join this particular program, and even getting the opportunity for sharing my experiences on the basis of our participants, fellow participants. Actually, this is a 2-week journey. I want to share with 2 more, the advantage and the shortcomings. Actually, feedback, this is the feedback, and that is why I am saying some points. The content of the refresher course was relevant, but need to improve according to the, some aspects are left, in which first is the how to prepare the research proposal and to know the frontline researches in the field of the teacher education worldwide. And second is most of the resource persons made remarkable presentation eye-opening presentation through this refresher course. But the another side, I want to mention that this is my humble submission. The first week of this refresher course was comparatively effective than the second week of this refresher course. And third one is the coordination of the coordinators and other resource person and all was very highly cooperative and effective. HRDC staff was very much cooperative and responsive, as Madam has already said, Nehaji and Gauravji. And the interaction approach was very innovative practices, and I have seen first time, because 1 hour for given for the interaction by the resource person, and the 30 minutes for giving the opportunity for the interaction. But the another side, as Madam has already mentioned, that due to the COVID-19, we are facing the problem, and Professor Rao has already mentioned that we should focus on the pedagogical practices and assessment practices, especially when we have and UGC has already reduced the time for refreshing our knowledge, especially in the field of the research and all things. And another side, 2 weeks were given, but this is my humble submission. Only 12 days were utilized in this manner. तो एक तरफ तो 14 दिन थे, एक तरफ 12 दिन थे. तो ये मेरा एक सबमिशन है, कोई कमेंट नहीं है, कि उन 12 दिन में भी हमने दिन भी कम किए, और उन 12 दिन में भी विदिन हमने एक अपॉर्चुनिटी दी इंस्टेड ऑफ बिटवीन. मतलब मेरा कहने का ये है कि 3 लेक्चर हमने लेने थे.
I request you please your error experience. This is already we have received, है ना?
Okay,
please. Yeah.
And last one is the this is anyway, this is okay from my side. These are the submissions, and anyway, overall this is my best experience in this particular refresher course. And on behalf of participant, I express my sincere gratitude to coordinator of the refresher course and for their continuous support throughout this program. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Taranji, for sharing your experience. And I would also like to share with you, fellow participants, that HRDC is running course as per the UGC guideline. These HRDC courses are hourly basis courses, which is 12-day or 72-hour or the 6-hour a day. And we have conducted as per the UGC direction only. If we can see any direction from the UGC HRDC, we will act on that way also. So thank you very much. And we have come to this end of a memorable valedictory session. Before I present a word of gratitude to all of you, I have few announcements to the fellow participant, that during our valedictory session, you may all have received your the relieving order in your concerned email, so that you can join the concerned institutions. We will send you the certificate by the next week. We will need some time, because you know that we required some time for the evaluations, and JNU HRDC is the only HRDC which is issuing these hard copy of the certificate also. So by next week, you will get the online, I mean that the soft copy of your certificate, and we will collect the address where you will get the hard copy of the certificate. So by within 10 or 15 days, you will get the hard copy of certificate. Due to this online courses, definitely those who have earlier attended our HRDC courses offline, you definitely miss our HRDC, the green beautiful campus of the JNU. You definitely miss our tea, coffee, or the food or the guest house facility HRDC JNU. So we welcome you all in future. When this offline courses will be start, you are most welcome. Or whenever you are around or nearby Delhi, you may please visit the JNU campus. You are most welcome at any time. With these words, now it is my sincere responsibility to present a word of gratitude to all of you. First of all, I would like to sincerely present and extend a warm gratitude, a deep sense of gratitude to Honorable Vice Chancellor of JNU, Professor Pandit Madam. And we will also Also grateful to Professor Nageshwar Rao for sparing your valuable time and sharing your thought-provoking words and enlightening all of us. Madam, we are very thankful to you. We will also like to thank all our HRDC course coordinator, and no resource for special course can shape without the hard working of the coordinators, and it was due to their dedication and enthusiasm, their determination and commendable hard work from the last, I mean that more than 1 to 2 months, and with their effort, this made the day made huge success. I thank all the coordinator for presenting the brief report of the course and conducting all the courses very successfully. Sir, madam, we highly appreciated the effort of the coordinator of both the courses for arranging highly experienced and diverse resource person who are the authority in their respective subject. We would also like to thank all the HOD of your concerned institution, the head of the institution. So because you are here only by their recommendation and the nomination. So we would like to thank all your HOD. We would also like to thank all the resource person who took their time out of their busy schedule and showered us with their pearls of wisdom and knowledge. We truly humble for all of them. We would also like to thank all the JNU faculty, Director CIS for providing uninterrupted internet facility. And the last but not least, we all like to thank all our participants. It would be not possible without your participation, patience, listening, and active interaction during these courses. We would like to thank you all the fellow participants who are conducting virtually from the different part of the country. I hope whatever you have learned here will definitely carry you through and share with the faculty member and transfer the knowledge among the students also. I would like to thank our HRDC team, especially Gauravji, who's working all the time in front of the 3 screen, monitoring everything. Nehaji, Madam Aroda, Om Prakash ji. So there are many other who are working behind the curtain. And this is only possible by the teamwork, especially all these, the name which I have announced. So we would like to thank all of you. So we would like to thank again HRDC director, all the coordinators, and I acknowledge once again if I can forget any of the name. The last, I would let me end by saying few words and challenging my fellow participant to go out and shine your light. You are the light of the world. A town village on a hill cannot be hidden. Go out and shine and let the world rejoice with hope at your shining light. And the light is that the knowledge. Thank you all once again and congratulations to all of you successfully completing both these courses. Thank you very much. So with the permission of Honorable Vice Chancellor, so shall we end this meeting, ma'am? Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over to you, technically.
I thank all the participants who joined this course on behalf of Jawaharlal University. And
Madam, congratulations and namaskar, madam.
Thank you so much. And I'm a Pandit, not Pandit.
Pandit.
Right, okay. Okay, I'm so happy. I want you to come back, enrich our program further. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.